Welcome to another episode of the Chronicles of Mr. I'm Mr. Pierre, and I'm so thankful and glad to be joined by Mr. Kevin Kirkland. Kevin, welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Mr. Pierre. It's great. It's great to be here. It's great to talk with another man of education.
Exactly, and to be able to talk to another black male who's in this profession is part of the reason why this podcast is around, and to be able to help anyone else who's in front of kiddos be the best possible version of them. So if I can start off by asking you that, how did you come into the profession of education?
So my journey in education was very, very, very wonky. It was almost out of necessity. I was during my undergrad, I was a Spanish major, and then life circumstances happened, very hard times, led me to flunk out of college. Then but then, by the skin of my teeth and by the, grace of God and the grace of the administration at my school, they let me back in after a semester and not just after a year, which is their protocol. So I got back in. But during that time when I was out, my mom, she's been a paraprofessional for 35 something years. And she said, you know what, go ahead, be a substitute teacher and everything. So I did that. And then my mom heard through the grapevine, hey, why don't you be a paraprofessional in the meantime? And so, I applied. I got that job. So I was doing that when I was kicked out. Then when I got back in, they allowed me to still work full time and complete my studies to complete my degree. But my Spanish degree, they cut it from the school, so I couldn't finish it. So I had to switch to a liberal studies degree. So I got out and graduated, and then after that, I found the first job that will hire me. So I got into middle school general music. So that was a wild time. That was not my forte. I played the trumpet for 12, 13, 14 years.
Okay.
But like teaching, I was like, this is wild. But after that year, and then I did fourth grade, my second year. Well, technically, that first year of teaching was my third year in education. So that was my first year teaching. My second year was fourth grade. My third year was also fourth grade. And then my fourth year, I went back to middle school. I taught seventh grade science. And then I actually left education for a year and a half. And I was in the nonprofit world. And they both were in education or skills training development. And then, and so I was with one for about 6-7 months. They let me go. And then the next one I was about for 7 months. And that whole thing was toxic. And I just felt super bad that a black woman, my manager, would use everything against me to try to get me out. And so, this is not all black women. That was just her. It just felt weird. Like why would she do that? And, but yeah, so I quit that job. Luckily, I know people in I'm from South Bend, Indiana.
Nice.
And so luckily I knew people. So I was emailing, texting, and I said, hey, does anybody have a job? And so one of them replied, she said, yep, I have a second grade position. Come ahead and go get it. And so I got in. Nice. And it was basically on the spot. So I got back in the second grade, and I fell in love with it. It was, I don't know something about it. I think it's my personality, and like how my mind interacts with the world. And I think it just suited well with second graders and elementary. So I don't think I'll do kindergarten first. I don't think that's my forte, but I think second, third, fourth, I think that's my jam.
I think even just that acknowledgement of knowing that there are particular grades of kiddos, ages of kiddos that we best, as an educator, you best fit well with. Because I know for myself, I teach middle school, so I am 100% with you about The kiddos who are in sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, that's my jam. I look at y'all who are with the elementary babies, kinder babies. I know I can't do that. And then similarly for high school, I know that's not my lane either. But that middle school, that's where I feel like I excel. So I hear you 100%.
Man, I've like I said, I've taught middle school too. I was like, like I have experience with it. So I'm like, okay, like actually I have 4 years. So my paraprofessional was in middle school. So that in the in 2 years in middle school, I was like, okay, I don't think this is me. I don't think this is me. The kids test me too much. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just go down.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Knowing what your lane is and being able to be the best, I guess, educator for the kiddos. That's what it comes down to. So knowing that is cool. What's hearing everything that you've been through, your ups and downs, lefts and rights and the turns, what's kept you in education? What keeps you coming back? What's kept you
I
here?
think I think what kept me back in, and I didn't have this appreciation until I left and I was in the nonprofit world and really understanding, really going through and sitting down and reflecting on what do I want to be, what I want to do, and how do I, and also like what kind of lifestyle do I want to have with in conjunction with my career. And so after that last job that I quit, I was like, I came back in, and the first week, I felt like, man, this is something that I feel like I can be in for a long time. Um, and also, what keeps me in is from those two nonprofit jobs, they were skills development based. So they wanted to get teenagers, young adults. They wanted to get skills so they can get into the job force and they can get into, um, bettering themselves because those jobs were in, low social income areas. So what keeps me in is if I can help somebody have a basis so that if I can help them build their basis of their education, then I can send them off in good conscience, knowing that they can they can reach for the stars. They can grab any other resource that they can, and so that they can see the opportunities themselves.
Word, word. Do you feel what do you feel like because you're dealing with the kiddos who are in second, like you said, between second and fourth grade. What do you feel like is the thing that every second, third, fourth grader needs to have before like you let them go?
Man, our biggest thing, a lot of our kids can't read. Like it is,
Okay.
like it is a yeah. It's our rates have gone up, but yeah, it's definitely concerning. So what I think every second, third, fourth grader needs to know, um, basically what I grew up in, because I grew up in this area. Actually, I grew up in the same neighborhood that I'm teaching at now. Uh,
Nice, nice.
and so everyone needs all these second, third, fourth graders. They need to know how to form sounds. They need to know how to blend phonic sounds together. Um, they need to know how to do mental math. They need to know how to do uh, long division, multi-digit addition and subtraction. They need to know, and this is more on us, but we need to teach them strategies on different ways to do certain
Right.
things, and we not need to penalize them if they use different
Yeah.
strategies to get the same answer. And so, and our biggest thing is, they need to be able to. The biggest thing is they need to be able to regulate. Um, they need to be able to learn how to regulate themselves emotionally, so that so that they can express themselves, so that we can better understand what problems or concerns that they have, so we can be more in conjunction with our students. So those are our biggest thing. Like I said, we just had a professional development about, we call it we have horizontal and vertical learning communities. And so last week we had a vertical. So we talked with the grade below us and the grade above us about what we want, what students should be able to, what should they learn before they get to the next grade. And so,
Is that something that your school has been doing on the regular, or is that something that's new?
This year, I believe they have been doing it.
Okay.
So I've had a horizontal and I've had a vertical. So I just had the vertical. And so for anybody that's listening, if you are, so horizontal is you talk with just your other teachers in your same grade. And a vertical learning community is you're talking with your grades below and above you. But in our case, we talk with everybody K through 5. Our school is K through 5. And so we talk with everybody.
Good. What would you, knowing that everything can't be a priority, because if everything's a priority, then nothing is. What would be, if you could, like we were saying earlier before we started recording, you can get in your Marty McFly DeLorean, go back, let your younger self know, let your younger teacher self know, like, hey, here's one thing as a black male educator that you really need to know or really need to hone in on. There's going to be a whole bunch of stuff that's going to be thrown your way, but here's this one thing for you particularly, Kevin. Like, you need to hone in on this or know this. What would be that one thing that you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self, and I struggle with this today with time management. I don't know why. I'm always been bad with it ever since I was a little kid. But I would tell myself, give yourself a schedule. It'll save you headache. It'll save you heartache. And you won't have to go through all of the loops and bounds that I had to go through in my education career. Like I was at a different school every year. If I would have just finished because I didn't finish with an education degree when I graduated college, but I had the opportunity to go back to school. They call it a transition to teaching. For those that don't know, that is just a year. It's an alternative route. Go for a year. Yeah. You get your license. I could have did that probably within the first 2 years of teaching. Hey, if you see stuff that can get done, get it done. It would have saved me. I'm talking to you, Kevin. Myself, Kevin. Set yourself a schedule. Then also, if you have stuff that can get it done immediately. Get it out the way.
Yeah. Agreed. There were so many mentors of mine who were like, hey, well, you should do this or you should do that. And I would hold things off. And it's only later where it's like, man, if I had just listened and like you said, get it done, set myself up for success a whole lot later down the line. Sweet. And in knowing, if I could ask you this, you just mentioned like, hey, for our second graders and our third graders, our fourth and fifth, we need to work on that reading. So reading really needs to be something that they enjoy doing, but we know that a lot of kiddos may not enjoy that. Is there a book that you've read or are reading that you're thoroughly enjoying that you would like to recommend?
For me, right now, I had gotten into it. I just finished reading it. It's called Relentless by Tim S. Grover, and it's about he splits everybody. This is into dealing with competition in sports, but he calls everybody a cooler, cleaner, and closer. And cooler is you're there, you do the job, you're not trying to excel in what you're doing, and then cleaner is they can come in, they almost like Superman syndrome. They can come in, swoop in, like last minute, do what they need to do. But then cleaners are the people that Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, those are people that are on 24/7. They take the shot, they take the last shot. They're the ones that are super dedicated. Those are the ones that have an outrageous work ethic, and they're doing everything. They're going to push everybody around them. And as everybody knows that they were people grew because of them. If you're around them, you're going to get better. And so,
yeah. And it was. Are they the cleaners or are they the closers?
They already. Sorry, closer is the second one, and then cleaner is the highest one.
Okay. And the closer is the one who last minute comes in.
Yeah, they're high level too, but they're not the ones that's going to take that last shot.
Okay. The cleaner
The
will.
cleaner will.
Okay. Dope, dope, dope. And then being the lovers of music that we are, this is the moment that I've been waiting for when it comes to guests, just to hear like their taste and whatnot. What would be that playlist that you would have? That it could be 5 songs, it could be 5 artists, it could be 5 albums. I just started off with 5. If you want to break the rules and give us more, that's fine too. What would make up your playlist?
Yeah, I think for me, The Coloring Book by Chance the Rapper. Definitely everybody needs to listen to that. I think one artist I just got into, her name is Nao, Nao. She has a song called Orbit. Oh my goodness, she's just phenomenal. Never heard another voice like that. Snow Allegra. Snow Allegra, she's in the R&B space. She's wonderful. Alex Isley, also R&B, new school R&B. One of the relatives of the Isley brothers. Who else have been listening to? I actually have a whole playlist of just R&B, electronic, and soul. Trying to go through it. I think. Also, I've been listening to a lot of Drake lately.
Is this new Drake or old Drake?
This is new Drake. So, Privileged Rappers. I've been listening to that. I've been listening to Rich Flex. I've been listening to Jimmy Crooks. Those have been heavy in the rotation as of lately. So I do a lot of that. I'm trying to think. I'll tell you one more. I hate to say it, I love listening to old Kanye. Love listening to old Kanye.
I understand. I understand. Oh, I understand. Yeah. All right. So, folks, if you're listening to this podcast and you're a new teacher, I think the gem that Mr. Kirkland dropped was one, time management. Take care of your time. Your time is precious. And that can be going from, hey, get your copies done on Friday instead of thinking of getting them on Monday. If it's time management also too, if there are things that you can get done now, get them done now rather than later, whether that's be a certification, whether that's taking a course, whether that's getting up early and go to hit the gym to take care of your physicals and your mentals and take care of your chickens and whatnot, do that. And then 2, you got to make sure that you've got a dope playlist, and from the artists that Mr. Kirkland has dropped, from Chance the Rapper to new Drake, old Kanye, the relatives of the Isley, we got it all in there. We'll make sure that we get your playlist linked up, and even if there are a couple artists that are not here, because you mentioned that you got a lot of them, we'll make sure that they get linked up. And so, folks, this has been a great conversation with another dope educator. I'm Mr. Pierre. He's Mr. Kirkland, and we're out.